If you're not willing to put your ego aside and take the blame for something that you did, then you're not mature. And that pretty much just means that your ego is so fragile that you would rather protect it than actually learning from the mistakes you've made. I feel like when you choose comfort over growth, you're not growing as a person. You're simply repeating the same patterns from the past. For example, a couple weeks ago, I was just playing football with some friends, and my teammate made a mistake that ended up costing us the game. And in the heat of it, I just lashed out at him. I can't remember the exact words I said, but they weren't pretty, right? And he snapped at me as well in order to defend himself. He was like, "Oh, what about you? You think you're better than everyone. Your whole personality is based around the fact you think you're better than us." And that hit me like a truck. I immediately realized I was in the wrong and I shouldn't have lashed out at him the way I did. So I placed my ego aside and I apologized to him. "I'm sorry, bro. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have attacked you like that. It's my fault." And I feel like it's moments like these that really emphasize what I'm talking about. Because if I hadn't placed my ego aside, then the argument wouldn't have ended and I would not be evolving as a person. I would simply be repeating the patterns from the past instead of growing from them. And that's why I say that if you're not willing to put your ego aside and take the blame for something that you did, then you're not mature. And I'm gonna keep using myself as an example here. I was a really immature kid while I was growing up. If I did something wrong, then I would always shift the blame to someone else. It was never my fault. I rarely apologized for anything. I had a lot of difficulty accepting criticism. I would get defensive and I would take everything personally, to be honest. And this probably stemmed from lack of confidence that I had in the past. So I decided to change for the better. I wanted to become more mature. I wanted to grow as a person. The first activity that really helped me mature was going to the gym. Now, you may be asking yourself, what the hell is this guy talking about? Going to the gym, what does that have to do with being mature? Well, in my opinion, going to the gym gives you more confidence. At least it did for me. And a more confident person has an easier time admitting to their own mistakes. Therefore, they can accept criticism and evolve as a person, as a human being. As I said before, when I was a kid, I had a really hard time admitting to my own mistakes because I didn't have a lot of confidence and I would just feel like I was being targeted when someone actually called me out, for something that I had done. So gaining confidence by joining the gym, it definitely helped me improve as a person and just grow and become more mature overall. Another activity that I started doing and that really helped me out was reading, because I would read these books on self-help, economics, psychology, and I would learn a ton of things, but I also became aware of just how much I didn't know. So it's a fun dichotomy where the more you learn on a certain subject, the more you realize how much knowledge there is still left. And this really humbled me, getting in contact with such a vast amount of information and realizing that, I only knew a small percentage of that information in a lot of areas. And for me, humility is one of the core components of being a mature person. So that's why I say that reading really helped me mature. And the last activity that played a crucial role in my development as a man was journaling. This was something I was a bit reluctant to do because, it was just a lot of work, to be honest. I didn't really enjoy writing when I was a kid, but journaling has a ton of benefits. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get into all of them, but for me, the best benefit that really made a change in my life was that it reduced impulsiveness. And what I mean by that is anytime I felt really stressed about a certain matter or, something was worrying me, I would just write about it. I would just write about it. I would write about what was causing me the worries, or I would write about what was causing me the stress, and then it would just clear my mind and it would leave me at peace inside. And essentially what this did was, it made me think more before actually taking an action. So if I was angry at someone, instead of calling them or sending them a message and lashing out at them, I would actually think about what was going on. Sometimes I would write about it and I would calm down, and once I was cool-headed, then if I still thought it was necessary, I would call that person or I would send them a message, but I would never do it out of something, impulsive. So I know I've talked for a long time, just get to the point. what does a mature person actually look like? Well, for me, I would say a mature person is someone who is self-confident. Someone who doesn't need constant validation from the outside because they know their intrinsic value. They don't need other people to tell them that. Someone who is mature is also not afraid of criticism, so they want to grow as a person. They don't hesitate to apologize if they are in the wrong, and they are not impulsive. So if they're mad at someone, they had a discussion, they will think about it. They will write about it before they lash out at someone. I would say I grew a lot as a person in the past 3 or 4 years after I decided to change for the better, and I still have a ton of things to learn. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure in 5 to 10 years I'll be way more mature than I currently am at 18. But that doesn't take away the validation from the progress I've made in recent times. So, by the way, I make videos like this all the time, so if you drop a sub on the channel, you'll get more videos like this in the future. And as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. Love you, and I'll catch you in the next one.